Book 2. Welcome to Jack's Reading Corner. I am Jack, and it is time for another video of my reading on my day off, because I have tomorrow off and I have Thursday off. I was just thinking today how I almost want to change the name of this series of videos that I do, because I just feel like it's kind of a lame name. But, I mean, it was the only thing I could come up with, because it's literally what I'm doing. I'm reading on my day off from work. But, I get tired of names so easily. Every time I think about names I would like to use in a book that I would hopefully one day write, there are certain names I get obsessed with for a while, but then I start to move on to like other names. So it's the same thing with this. But anyway, so I don't know if I'm gonna call it. I don't know what I'm gonna call it. Maybe I'll just do what other people like Steve Donahue do, which is just call it whatever day it is. Reading, like today, tomorrow will be Wednesday, so Wednesday reads. But I probably put the date in it too, because I don't think you can use the same. I can't like do Wednesday reads. Well, maybe I can. I don't know. But anyway, so let's talk about what I'm gonna read starting tonight. Actually, so I'm still working on this book, The Archivist, by Martha Cooley. This is one I got from Givens bookstore, last year, I want to say. It might have been 2017, I don't know. But the story centers around this guy, Matthias. I think his last name is Lane. He is an archivist at a prestigious college, which, as another reviewer said, it's probably Yale or Harvard or Princeton, one of those. And I'm thinking more along the lines of Princeton, because Princeton makes me think of like literature and English, and that's what this book is about. You have two stories surrounding Matthias. You have the story of his present day life, and then you have the story where he's telling you about his past, with about his marriage and his relationship with his wife, back in the 40s. He is a Christian, and his wife was a Jew. So, and if you know your religions, there's a lot of differences with the way the Jewish people think and the way the Christians think. And this was during the time of the Holocaust. And Judith, his wife, was having survivor's guilt, so she's obsessing over what was going on in Europe, and Matthias did not really understand why she was so obsessed. To the point of she was a little neurotic. Because she was so passionate about it and cared so much. And she would snap at him if he would, question her concern about it. And eventually it led him to think that she needed to be institutionalized. He couldn't handle anymore, and he could not be around her anymore, so he put her in an institution. And eventually she eventually has a mental breakdown and kills herself. Which I think... Okay, well, it doesn't say that, but someone said in a Goodreads review, pointing out that she killed herself. So, and it's basically about how their marriage fell apart, particularly because of their different religious views, and how she cared so much about this thing that he did not care about, that he couldn't begin to understand. And it just caused a rift in their relationship. And a rift is putting it nicely. And the middle part of the book is from her point of view. It's all of her journal entries from her time at the mental institution. And then the other plot in the book is his relationship with Roberta Spire, who has a lot of similarities to his wife Judith. She is Jewish herself, or she actually, I think she had found out that she was Jewish. And she is like Judith, she is a poet, and she has a strong fascination with T.S. Eliot. So this, and she meets Matthews when he's as a librarian, and tries to, and talks to him about T.S. Eliot, while at the same time she's trying to get him to reveal the letters from T.S. Eliot that were exchanged between him and Emily Hallowell when he was not his wife, and that maybe in some way he loved her. And Roberta believes that this might hold the answer to who T.S. Eliot really was and why he converted. I'm trying to think if he was a Catholic first and converted to Judaism. I'm not sure I'm figured that part out yet. I don't remember. When I read it, I'm gonna probably come across where it's gonna remind me, and that's gonna be after I'm done with this filming. So far, it is a very intriguing and kind of heartbreaking. It's kind of a bittersweet story. Like, it's very sad and tragic, but at the same time, it's also about people that care about literature and poetry. And that's what drew me to. First off, the cover with all the books on it, and then the fact that it was about an archivist. I thought that was really interesting. Like, that's another buzzword for me, as archivist, or someone whether it's someone who's either literature, someone who's studying in something to do with literature, or archaeology, or archiving. Now, I'm at a little bit of my feelings on I am also a Christian, so I can see more. I do lean more towards Matthew's point of view, but I get that why his wife is so upset and why this so strongly affects her, because the religion she comes from, the people that she comes from, were being persecuted just for who they were. And she had survived. She was here in the United States, living her life while people were being persecuted, including her real biological parents, because she finds out in the book that that the people who raised her, that she thinks of as her parents, are really her aunt and uncle, and that her biological parents, I believe, died in Germany. And then the other thing is, I took a poetry class, but I was never really good at poetry. I mean, I passed my class and everything, and I did well in my class because I think I'm pretty good at English. But I'm not drawn to it. I find it, I can't always comprehend it. And I definitely prefer prose over poetry. But I do, and I just have no interest in it. But I do, the epic poetry we read in my British literature class wasn't terrible. I kind of liked that. But it wasn't my favorite piece of literature that we read in that class. Let's see, what else do I want to say? I don't want to say too much, although I probably said basically what I would say in my review. It's definitely one of those books that, you look at religion and you kind of come to realize that, yeah, unfortunately, I think it is true that that it's kind of risky marrying someone of a different religious faith. Because, especially during times in turmoil of that particular religion, because unfortunately there are a lot of religions that are persecuted, And there are a lot of religions that have bad examples coming out of it. Like, I mean, because there's something that Judith says to Matthias, in the book, pointing out that the negatives of his religion, and she's not entirely wrong. That Christianity does have its faults. It does have its religious zealots. No religion is perfect, and I'm sure there's things about Judaism that aren't perfect either. I just don't know what they are off the top of my head. And it kind of looks at that, but it focuses more on the Judaism than on the Christian religion. But so far, unfortunately, it's one of those books that I am interested in and I'm engaged in. But of course, there are fantasy books that I'm more excited to read, more eager to read. And this one, I'm more reading it because I think not that I'm like, I just have to get through this. Like, not like it's not like how you feel about books that you're assigned in school, but just, well, it's more like books that you are assigned in school that you actually like, but you don't love. You like it. But, and I don't want to DNF it either because I want to keep going. I want to finish it, and I would love to be able to finish it before the end of the month. So I'm definitely going to read a lot tonight. Like, let's see, it's the 28th, so I have 4 days, because I think there's 31 days in May, so I have 4 days to get this finished. I don't know if it can happen, but hopefully it will. Like I said, there's other books right here that I'm more engaged in. But it's not, like I said, I'm not so, like, I like it enough that I want to keep going. It's just, again, there's books that I'm more excited about reading. And then there's also, like, I think I mentioned this in my last video where I was talking about what I was going to read on my day off. But there are a lot of new releases that I just bought. I bought them at Costco, which is like a giant warehouse store. And they have a bit of a display section of books. A lot of kids' books, and some nonfiction, and then all the new releases are there. It's kind of like how Walmart is, where Walmart has its smallest book section. And surprisingly, they had all four of the new releases that I was eager to check out, because that I had recently just heard people talk about. It was like and again, I've said this before, that I've become, I guess, one of those people that, just the typical booktuber hears about the new release and is eager to buy it because they hear about people talking about it, either whether they liked it or not. So it's like, now you feel like, okay, I have to read this book. Which actually, we're going to take a little trip to my grandmother's to spend the night, because my cousin's graduation is next weekend. And, or at the end of this week, I believe. And we're going to, I think, or it might not be this weekend, but the weekend coming up. Her graduation is, actually, it might be this weekend, I don't know. But, anyway, so we're gonna go visit, since it's only 3 hours away, so we can go to the graduation, stay the night at my grandmother's house. And I keep thinking about all the books I want to bring, and I'm trying to not bring, like, over 4 books. I'm trying to restrict myself to at least 3. And it's kind of hard because, especially since some of the books I want to bring are hardback, and hardback is pretty heavy. So, but anyway, and like I keep reminding myself, I'm not gonna if I bring too many books, I want to read all of them, and I won't get any of them. I won't progress in a big way in any of them, because I'll be thinking, oh, I gotta read this one, I gotta read this one now, and then there's other factors like, oh, I should bring one of my Stephen King books, or I should bring Leviathan Wakes, which is a science fiction book, or there's Dune, and oh, but I should bring like a trade paperback or a small one of my mass markets that I'm in the middle of, and just there's so many different factors that I'm thinking of, and the same thing with the cruise, which that's coming up. I mean, it's in only a few weeks, and that one I'll have even less time to read then. But it's very hard to narrow it to pick which one I want to bring. Like there is one in particular that I'm leaning towards for both trips, but it's a hardback, so I'll have to bring. When we go on the cruise, I'll have to bring at least one other book that's a paperback, so I can travel. When we go tour around the island, the different islands and stuff. But anyway, I'll get to tell you guys about that. So I'm getting this. I'm working this one. I'm pretty far into it, so there is a chance. It's just I get distracted by other books or by watching TV. I'm currently watching Angel, the DVDs, and I'm on season 2, and oh my god, it's getting so close. If you watch the show Angel, it's getting to the part where Angel kind of goes down a dark path. He doesn't go all evil, like when he experiences true happiness, but he decides, he realizes that he needs to go down a dark, very dark path, and he fires his staff to do that because he knows that they won't let him go down this dark path. And then, unfortunately, when he has this moment of clarity, realizes he no longer needs to go on this self-destructive path. When he's ready to get back with the gang and stuff. Of course, they're not as easily forgiving. So those kind of situations, whether it's just in one episode or a period of episodes, it's always so uncomfortable, and I get so it drives me crazy, emotionally crazy. But anyway, okay, so I'm reading that one, and then I gave in and I started The Gilded Wolves. I've been reading it on and off in bed. Oh, I forgot there's one other book. I'll be right back. Okay, I don't know. I must have left a book downstairs. But I'm on chapter 7 of His Majesty's Dragons. And Lawrence and Temeraire are currently in Scotland training, and he's currently accidentally made friends with someone who is not very good with his dragon. He's very mean to his dragon and doesn't take care of him, and no one else likes this guy, and Lawrence inadvertently made friends with this guy, so now he's like, okay, I can't be friends with this guy. No one else likes him. It's going to ruin my reputation. Especially because he doesn't approve of how this guy treats his dragon. Like, he feels like he needs to treat his dragon with an exaggerated, firm hand, to the point of neglect and abuse. And Lawrence does not approve of that. And and he's not the only one, so he doesn't want to garner this reputation, so he's got to find a way for him and this guy not to, to restore his reputation. But unfortunately, if he tries to, then this other guy might give him a hard time. So, anyway. So that's as far as I got with that. I don't have that one because I bring it with me to work, and I think I left it downstairs because, of course, I keep my lunch bag downstairs. So, I'll have to get that. But anyway, so back to the Gilded Wolves. I still haven't got very far because what I've been doing is reading this one in bed. But unfortunately, when you're laying in bed and you've been working hard all day, you once you're comfortable in that nice soft mattress and your head is touching the pillow, that's when you start getting sleepy. So I haven't gotten very far in this one. We've been introduced to our crew of characters. And let's see. I want to get the names of the characters. We're in part 1. Okay, so nope, not that part. It's kind of a prologue. You have our main character Severn. He's the leader of this group, and him and Enrique, who is if you heard people talk about this book, it has a lot of diversity, and Enrique is Filipino, which kind of nice because I'm Filipino, so and in like only a quarter though, so but in other words, my grandma's full and my mom is half. So that's kind of cool that there's a Filipino character in something other than, you know, a historical or contemporary novel set in the Philippines, you know, or a character from the Philippines who's in the United States. Because I mean, sometimes I do read contemporary, but I lean more towards adult contemporary rather than the YA contemporary about, you know, teens and stuff. But him and Enrique are trying to steal this object, this magical object, at a auction that contains a map. And they almost got caught. And they almost were not successful, but of course they, at the last minute, they get out of there and go back to the secret hideout, and you meet and the other characters. I don't know how to say her name, but I think it's the same name as in Ember and the Ashes, which I ended up getting rid of that book because I didn't know if I would ever read it. Eulalia, we're introduced to her, and we are introduced to, I think she's the one who's good at baking. She's really good at baking things. And I don't remember, other than that, I don't remember what her other talents were and what her other skills were. And then you have Zofia. She's a little bit, I think she's one of the younger members. And I think she has some kind of power. I don't know yet. But, and then you have Lalia. Lalia is dating, there's two other male characters in the story, I believe. Let me see if I can. She's dating this, I think, this one guy who is Tristan. Oh, Tristan. She's dating a guy, or maybe it's Tristan that's Filipino. But she's dating Tristan. He's a guy that's all into like spiders and insects and stuff. He's a giant tarantula. And then I just read the part where they have opened up the map, the compass which contains the map, and there is the Eye of Horus is on the map, and they've just figured out what, you know, revealed the eye. And they figure out that you have to look through the eye to find this thing known as the Babel fragment. So I don't know, unfortunately, I don't know anything without looking at the book. So I hope you guys can understand and hear me. So yeah, that's one of the ones I'm thinking about bringing with me to South Carolina. Okay, so this is the one that's a definite for both trips, I think. Both the quick trip to South Carolina and to visit, and the trip and the cruise. As you can see, it's hardback and it's a pretty chunky book, so it's pretty heavy. Okay, so like I said, you have two nations. You have the East and the West. The East, I think, is the one that fears the dragon. I think. Oh wait, no, the East is the people that revere the dragons, and you have our character, Tane, and she is training she wants to be a sea guard. What is, let me see. Does it say? And she is a sea guard, and she has competed in several trials. And of course she has her competition in what is it? Deruso. And he's one of those arrogant guys who thinks him better than everybody and talks tough and tries to psych you out and all that kind of stuff. Kind of an ass. And she has all these, and they are, I think, being observed by dragons. So in this world, the dragons talk, I believe. And then while in that's the east. Let's see. And then, let's see, I think the other part is the west. Yeah, well, in the west, the Nameless One's general, I can't figure out how to say when it's called, he has awoken, and everyone's freaking out and panicking in the city in the west. And the dragon and the queen, Sabran, has confronted the dragon. And he has threatened her and is gonna get ready to set her on fire, fry her like a shish kebab. And she's like thinking, "Oh my God will protect me. The saint will protect me." But then our other character, what's her name? Let me find it. But then, Durian, what's her first name? Iad. I don't know if I'm saying it right. Iad Durian. She, because she has been secretly protecting Sabran, she runs up and uses magic so that the dragon's fire won't hurt the queen. But of course, the queen does not believe in that kind of magic or anything. And when another girl witnessed Ian doing that, using her magic, she tells her, "Oh, she's a sorceress and everything." But then the Queen Sabran, does not believe her. Does not believe, believes it will be false. That there's no way that she could use magic. So, and then there's another thing going on. And then there's a guy from, I think, there's the other things that are going on in the West. I think that's where Nick plays. I think that's where Dr. Bruce Nick plays. He's in the West, but he's from the East. And he was, oh wait, no, actually he's from the West, but he's in the East. Because Queen Sabran had banished him to the East. Because I can't remember. I think he was doing something gay for something that, did something to her that caused him to be punished. And he was going to hide. He was in the beginning of the book. We start with him hiding someone who came from the East, has arrived in the West nation to, I don't remember what the names of the actual cities are called, so I'm just calling it East and West. He shows up, he has sailed to their nation to ask for help and talk to the Queen. Of course, Nikolai's like, Queen Sabra is not gonna believe you. Because of course him and his lover, Lady Trude, have figured out that the Nameless One is trying to return. Is trying to come back from is trying to return. And of course, Sabran and her people don't believe that's possible. They believe that her family is protecting them. Their family's magic, I guess. So he tells him, of course, that it's a waste of time to tell her. And there's also the fear of they have this plague that they can contact. It came from the Nameless One. Like, he would bring fire, and it was like that there was poison and put blood and poison into their system. And let's see what else is going on. And then there's also the brother of I forget her name again. The brother of Yet's friend has been sent on a mission by the Queen's one of her advisors, and they don't trust this guy. I believe he's her spy master. But he tells the Queen that he did not send this guy. Artloff had chosen to go on this mission on his own to see her father, who is in a different part of the world, who now his people, they worship the Nameless One. Something like that. So a lot going on in this book so far. It's a standalone, but I am heard that this one in particular one is a standalone, but the author, she's going to write more stories in this world. And I kind of want to know what the deal is with the Orange Tree. I know that, what's her name? I keep forgetting her name. I just said her dang on name. What was it? I blame it on being tired from work for 4 hours. What is her name? What is her? I cannot believe it's like at the tip of my tongue. It says Iad. So Iad, well, I don't remember what I was gonna say about her. Well, anyway, sorry, that's a lot going on. Okay, so I'm also going to continue with, I also need to continue with these books. This one I might bring with me to South Carolina. I haven't read anything, so nothing new to report with this one, or this one for that matter. But, I mean, I know my mom has an appointment tomorrow, so I'm off, hence why I'm doing this. Of course, that's why I'm doing this video. So we might go to the pool tomorrow, depending on how long her appointment is, because my mom doesn't like going to the pool, she likes to go in the morning because it's less crowded, and plus, the afternoon is when the sun is at its highest, so you don't want to, go in the afternoon, and I'm kind of with her, after having experienced the pool, when it's not crowded. I like that, because, it makes it harder to swim and stuff, because, I'm worried about, bumping into people and all that. Okay, so, like I said, I'm not going to report on King of Scars, or The Lost Queen, but this one I might bring with me to South Carolina, which is what I did last time, but this time I've actually progressed in it. I'm very far into this. But I haven't done anything lately with The Lost Queen, so I need to read some of these books tomorrow. And I'm also, there are a lot of books that I'm thinking about that I need to read, like, Malice, for instance. Malice and Theft of Swords. I need to get to, I need to continue with, Count of Monte Cristo as well. There's a lot of books that I need to continue with. There's Clash of Kings I need to get back into. And like I said, I think I might bring His Majesty's Dragons with me. Oh my god, I can't tell, but I have gone back to the Rainbow Shelf. I really like the Rainbow Shelf. I think it's really pretty, and it's a nice way to organize things. Like, I know that series are out of order and stuff like that, but I like it. I still like the Rainbow Shelf. It's a nice easy setup. And it looks pretty. And I'm not gonna bring my thing over there, but I have over on that side, all of my books with black spines are over there. So, like, apparently there are a lot of classics with black spines. And that's actually where Lost Queen is now, because to me this is black. Like, there's a little bit of orange in it. And so that is what's going on with my reading. As always, would love to know what you guys are reading right now. If you like this video, be sure to give a thumbs up. Click subscribe if you haven't already. Would really appreciate it. And click the bell icon below if you want to get notified when I post more videos. And as always, I hope you are enjoying your reading, and I will talk to you all later. Alright, bye!